Spanish human is gone for a minute. Now, yeah, where did I put the very potent cutlass and the totalist neurotoxin? Oh, here is it, yeah? I think that half of the bottle should be enough for him. He did make a very hearty and robust beef stew for dinner, so I think that half of their neurotoxin will definitely be enough to do the job. It won't knock him out, it'll just paralyze his whole body because I want my next specimen to be awake for the entire duration of his abduction, yeah? Okay, so I'm now dumping half a bottle of my neurotoxin into his bowl of stew. Then I'll just act like I'm not hungry or that I have an upset stomach. He won't suspect anything until it is far too late. Okay, I laced his food and he's coming back now, so phew, I managed to shove the bottle into my purse and my purse has been the table. Okay, now back to my regularly scheduled pretending to be a romantic partner, and yeah. So, thank you again for inviting me over for a homemade dinner, my darling. I really appreciate all of your hard work. I know this beef stew was your grandmother's recipe and that it took you like 4 hours to make, so thank you very much for making dinner for me. You honestly didn't have to do a meal this fancy, but I understand this meal was a labor of love because this is our second date. I apologize that I'm such a mess. I've never been good in romantic situations. So, let's just eat now. Alright, darling. Oh my goodness, your beef stew looks so super duper good, baby. I can't wait to take my first bite. Well then, here I go. Honey, I'm terribly sorry, but I think that my stomach is really upset all of a sudden. So, can you please just go ahead and eat your bowl of stew right in front of me? I was really ecstatic to eat your home, but my stomach isn't cooperating with me right now. So, if it's cool with you, my darling, I would like to just watch you eat your bowl, and then maybe we can cuddle afterwards. So, go on, honey. Eat your food, and I pinky promise that I won't leave the table until you're finished. Yes, that's it, honey. Eat up and enjoy your own home cooking. I'm so happy that I'm your girlfriend. Wow, you ate the entire bowl of stew. You must have been starving, you poor thing. Yeah? What is this? Yeah? Darling, you're twitching and having muscle spasms. Are you okay? Should I dial 911 and say that I need an ambulance? Oh my, it appears that you actually can't talk at all anymore. But that's not a big of a deal. I think it's about time I dropped this damn human girlfriend act. Computer, beam us onto the ship preferred location, medical room 1, access code. Test likes mochi. Arara, I finally did it. I was able to abduct a human male for research purposes. Yeah. Oh, I suppose that I should properly introduce myself to you. Greetings, human. My name is Tess Uvag. I'm an alien from outer space. I was sent to your backwards planet with orders to abduct the very first human that I made contact with. I'm a doctor, and tonight, Specimen 1, I'm going to be interrogating and subjecting you to very few intrusive experiments. I only hope that you don't end up like Specimen 0. I had managed to abduct them, but before I could even begin a routine examination, he had opened my ship's airlock and floated away. His cause of death was suffocation. I didn't even get to cut him open and harvest one of his kidneys. I'm still upset about that, yeah. Anyway, it's time to begin your examination. What's wrong, human inquiry? Why are you confused? I don't fully understand, and yes, just so you're made, you can't move because I laced your dinner with a new toxin, and I'm also a telepath. Oh? Yeah, I see, so you're confused as to why I'm not wearing sterile personal protective equipment. Nani kore? What is PPE? And what does the word sterile mean? I don't understand your human vocabulary very well, so I apologize. Oh, I see now, after reading your thoughts a little. Silly human. I will definitely have a need for what your people call sterile latex gloves, a surgical mask, and a lab coat, because my people, the uvula, are all extremely germophobic, so I will need a minute to put on my PPE. Okay, I have my sterile PPE on, but I'm going to begin your examination by shining my pen light into your frontal hole on the count of 3. You will do as commanded and open your frontal hole. 1, 2, 3. Good. Very interesting. I need to record my observations for the mother alien. I almost forgot to do that. Dr. Tess UX log. Concerning the research of human specimen 1, start date is day 1 of the 4th lunar month in the 23rd Neko year. Upon beginning inspection of specimen 1's frontal hole, everything appears to be normal. I'm now going to commence the probing. Yeah. Stand by. Okay, specimen 1. Next, I'm going to probe you, so please hold your frontal hole open. Really wide for me. Yeah. Good boy. That's the proper position. Now, just hold still. I'm going to insert the probe right now. Dr. Alyssa Uvaxlaw continued. I've inserted my probing rod into specimen 1's frontal hole. It's hitting his transportation port, which is located in the rear of the frontal hole. Specimen 1 appears to be gagging violently. Yeah. Stand by. Ara, you're such a naughty specimen. Good specimens don't choke on the probe inquiry. Meow. Human, please answer truthfully. Is this the hole that the gross stuff comes out of? I'm incredibly curious, yeah. Are you about to produce a hairball? Yeah? That's good. I need a sample from you anyway. Just let me grab a contain. What the heck? Idiot. Bad specimen. You just vomited all over me from your mouth. Even though I'm wearing full personal protective equipment. That's so gross. I'm going to remove the probe now. Dr. Tess Uvaxlaw continued. This is Dr. Taz Uvag. It is stardate 1 of the 4th lunar month after commencing the probing of specimen 1's frontal hole with the probing rod. It appears that specimen 1 is extremely weak. He possesses a very strong gag reflex, but the good news is that specimen 1 has produced a viable sample for my study. I will now describe the sample and collect it, but before I proceed, I unfortunately need to change into new PPE because my very naughty specimen ruined it. End of vlog. Transmission for now. Okay, now just take a few deep breaths. You've been wearing a personal protective equipment and changing into sterile PPE a lot this entire star year. You've had specimens vomit onto your surgical gown, surgical mask, and latex gloves. Once, or maybe even twice, before you just need to concentrate. Excellent. I've changed into sterile PPE just by ignoring the vomit, so now that I'm wearing clean personal protective equipment again, I need to collect that fresh vomit sample and put it into a vial. Ew, specimen 1's vomit smells gross, and it's very thick and vicious. Now, inserting collected sample into a vial. Yeah. I've collected 1 sample of bodily fluid, but what other kinds of samples can I collect from specimen 1? I think that the mother alien would be pleased if I collected a sample of earwax and maybe a skin sample. Then maybe an external organ like an ear or something, yeah? Dr. Tess Uvag's log entry number 3, titled Collecting Additional Samples from My Captive Specimen. This is Dr. Tess Uvag recording another entry in my report to the mother cat. I'm now going to endeavor to collect a sample of human earwax from my captive specimen 1. In addition to the earwax sample, I'm going to harvest a few skin samples and even harvest one of specimen 1's ears as proof of a successful abduction. Now gathering a cotton swab tweezers and a sharp scalpel. I will now begin swabbing specimen 1's ear. Oh, I actually got a huge chunk of earwax on the cotton swab. Now putting into a vial. Next, I'm going to pluck off 2 small skin samples. Here goes nothing. This is Dr. Tess Uvag, captain of the starship Milky Way, continuing the record of an audio log. Transmission for the mother alien. I'm now going to pluck off 2 skin samples using my tweezers. Stand by, yeah? Okay. I've successfully collected 2 small skin samples from my captive specimen. Next, I will take my scalpel and cut off specimen 1's left ear. Specimen 1, please hold still for me. Yeah, this will only hurt a tiny bit. Please, just be a brave little kitty for me. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And I've harvested an ear as proof of a successful abduction. Now, placing the ear into a containment unit for delivery to the mother cat. Well, I honestly think that I've collected enough samples for the mother alien as proof of a perfect abduction of human male. So, I think that I will just transfer specimen 1 back to their dwelling place safe and sound. Yeah. Transporter activating in 3, 2, 1. Thank you so very much for being a good sport about your abduction, human. I managed to learn a lot from you. I hope that you sleep well. Maybe I'll choose to abduct you again sometime soon.